Hello, welcome to Miss Bell's channel. Today you are going to be learning some multiplication, and I'm going to teach you some different strategies to help you solve your basic multiplication facts. So, for example, you'll learn how to use equal groups to solve multiplication problems. You'll learn how to use arrays to solve multiplication problems, and you'll use repeated addition to help you solve multiplication problems. And then we will do some story problems using the strategies that we learned today. So be ready to learn, and I hope that you do learn a lot. So the first strategy that I'm going to talk about is something called equal groups. So we're going to pretend that each circle is a group. So this would be one group, two groups, three groups. So who can tell me how many groups do we have? Yes, we have 1, 2, 3 groups. So I'm going to put a 3 here. And this time sign, we're going to say groups of. So we're going to have 3 groups of. I'm going to put some dots inside of the circles. How many dots are in each circle? So they all have the same amount. So how many dots are in each circle? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 3 groups of 5. So if I want to solve this, what I can do is I can skip count by 5s to figure out what is 3 times 5. So count with me. 5, 10, 15. So 3 times 5 equals 15. Did you know if I flip the 3 and the 5, I would get the same answer? But I want to show you how it will look a little bit differently. So 3 times 5 means 3 groups of 5. 5 times 3 means 5 groups of 3. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. Who knows how many dots I might put in each group? If we have 5 groups of 3, or 5 times 3. Yes. Good. Yes, you will put 3 dots in each circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now that I have 5 groups of 3, I can skip count them again. So I'm going to say 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 3 times 5 is the same as 5 times 3, but it just looks a little differently in how you group them. Okay, raise your hand if you would like to see another one of these problems. Okay, we'll do another one. Okay, so the next problem we're going to do is going to be 6 times 5. Who can tell me how many groups I will make with 6 times 5, or 6 groups of 5? It's not 5. When we have the first number, it tells us how many groups. The second number tells us how many in each group. So we will have 6 groups of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each group is going to have 5 in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now what I can do is I can skip count to figure out what is 6 times 5, or 6 groups of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 equals 30. So 6 times 5 equals 30. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip those numbers, and we'll see how 5 times 6 is a little bit different than 6 times 5. But you'll get the same answer if you flip the numbers. So 5 times 6 means 5 groups of 6. So how many groups will we have? Yes, we will have 5 groups, and how many in each group? Yes, 6. Very good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. I'm going to put 6 in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I can skip count by 6s. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So 5 times 6 equals 30. Any questions so far about equal groups? Okay, it's making sense. Good. Okay, so the next way that we're going to learn about multiplication is the strategy of using an array or making an array. So in order to know about arrays, you have to know what a row is and what a column is. So I'm going to put a little note up here. Rows, they go side to side, and columns go up and down. Okay, so I'll show you why this will be important once we get into this. So the first problem I'm going to make is 4 times 5. And what this means is you're going to have 4 rows of 5. So my rows, we're going to have 4 of them. Okay, so I have 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 5 dots in each row. So this represents 4 times 5. So what I can do is I can skip count my rows and say 5, 10, 15, 20. So 4 times 5 equals 20. So I'm going to show you another way to show 4 times 5 or 5 times 4. Okay, so 5 times 4 actually means 5 rows of 4. So I'm going to make 5 rows, and rows go side to side, of 4. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and each row has 4 in it. So now I can skip count by 4s. Say 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So 5 times 4 equals 20. But you can show it in different ways. Alright, raise your hand if you would like to do one more with a raise. Okay, we will do one more. Okay, so the next problem we're going to do is 6 times 4. Okay, so this means 6 rows of 4. So I'm going to have 6 rows going side to side, and this 4 actually tells us how many columns we'll have. So I'm going to go ahead and make the start of my 6 rows, and each row will have 4. Okay, so now that I have 6 rows of 4, who remembers what you can do now to solve this? Yes. Good, you can skip count now. So I'm going to circle each row and count by 4s because there's 4 in each row. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So 6 times 4 equals 24. So if I flip these numbers, will I still get 24? I will, but what that will mean is 4 rows of 6. So it will look like this. So now I have 4 rows of 6. So I'm going to skip count by 6s now. So 6, 12, 18, 24. So 4 times 6 is 24, and it's the same as 6 times 4. It's just flipped. Okay, so we're going to learn another strategy you can use to help you solve multiplication problems. So the next strategy that we're going to use is using repeated addition. And so for example, I'm going to do the problem 4 times 3. And what that means is that I'm going to add 3 4 times. So it's going to be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And then I can just add them. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 3 more is 9. Plus 3 more is 12. And then I can also do 3 times 4, which just means I'm adding 4 3 times. So I would do 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 more is 12. So they're the exact same answer, you just flip the numbers. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is 6 times 2. So that means I'm going to add 2 6 times. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals down here. So I'm gonna, and if I'm adding 2's, I can just skip count. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 6 times 2 equals 12. If I do 2 times 6, that means I'm adding 6 how many times? 2 times. So 6 plus 6 equals 12. Okay. Any questions about this? You want to do another one? Okay, we can do one more. Alright, so we'll do 5 times 7. So that means I'm adding 7 5 times. So we'll do 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. So I have it 5 times. So now I can just add them. So 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 7 more is 21, plus 7 more is 28, plus 7 more is 35. Raise your hand if you think I do 7 times 5, it will equal 35. Okay, let's see. That means I'm going to add 5 7 times. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Over here. 5. Okay, so I have 7 5s. I'm just gonna add, starting here, so 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 more 15, plus 5 more 20, plus 5 more 25, plus 5 more 30, plus 5 more equals 35. Right, any questions about this so far? Okay, so who is ready to do some story problems using these strategies? Awesome. Okay. So I would like you to grab your whiteboard materials, and I want you to try using some of these strategies as I'm writing some story problems for you. Okay? So as you're grabbing your materials, I'm going to write the first problem for us. Okay? first problem is Joe had 3 cookies. Each cookie had 5 M&Ms on it. How many M&Ms in all? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the strategy of equal groups for this. So I'm going to pretend like each group is a cookie. So we have 3 cookies. So that means we have 1, 2, 3. And each cookie has 5 M&Ms on it. These are M&Ms. And we want to know how many M&Ms in all. So what I can do now is I can say 5 plus 5 plus 5, because I'm adding all of the M&Ms on the cookies. So I could say 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 more equals 15 M&Ms in all. Okay, I'm also going to show you what the array would look like for this. So the multiplication problem for this is 3 times 5. So my array would look like 3 rows of 5. Okay. So raise your hand if you used the equal group strategy while you were solving this one. Okay. Raise your hand if you used repeated addition strategy. Okay. And the array. Okay. So we kind of like all 3 of them so far. Alright, we're going to do another one. Okay. So this problem is, there were 5 jars. Each jar had 4 buttons in it. How many buttons in all? So who can tell me what they think the multiplication problem for this is? Yes. Yes, it is 5 times 4. So we can either make 5 groups of 4. Using the equal group strategy, we can make it 5 rows of 4, or we can add 4 5 times. So I'm going to do the equal groups. I'm going to make my jars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each jar is going to have 4 buttons in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be the equal group strategy. I'm also going to do the array strategy, which would be 5 rows of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And the repeated addition, which would be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Okay, so what I can do is I can skip count by 4s here, which basically just means I'm adding 4 5 times. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So 5 times 4 equals 20, and let's see if we get the same answer using all of the strategies. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So we're good with the array. Now we have 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 more is 12, plus 4 more is 16, plus 4 more is 20. So all of our strategies gave us 20. Any questions? Or do we want to do one more? We feel like we're good for today? Okay, so I hope that you learned a lot and you learned how to use different strategies to help you solve multiplication problems, and continue to use these strategies when you're solving basic facts. Have a restful sleep. Good night.